guys, so today I am talking about having your Venus in a fire sign. So if you know that your Venus or someone else that you're close to's Venus is in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, then this video is for you. If you're not sure how to find your Venus, check out my video, Venus, the intro to it, and I will link it down below. And also I will link down below a website for you to be able to look up your birth chart and an app that I really love for creating birth charts. So if you're just looking for one sign and you don't want to hear about the other two, then I will also link the times down below in my info box to let you know what to skip to. So just a quick overview on what Venus is about. It's about love, it's about, your attraction, it's about relationships, whether they be platonic, whether they be romantic, whether they be family relationships. Venus has to do with harmony and balance and beauty and physicality, and it has to do with how we deal with our relationships in life and the barriers, that we might face, as well as the strengths that we have, and, not just in romantic relationships. Yes, I'm wearing a jean jacket. I know it's a little weird, and if that scares you, then I don't know what to tell you, but I'm cool with it, so let's move on. Yes, I am on the floor, as always, in front of a heater that's not on. It's actually ice cold, but that's okay. Hence the jean jacket. So if you or someone you know has their Venus in Aries, this can be a kind of difficult placement for your Venus because it's in its detriment. But that just means that more work might be needed in this area of your life. It's not like it's like a bad luck curse or anything like that. So a person with their Venus in Aries may be concerned with themselves more than they really are with other people. Having someone that is more concerned with themselves over others in relationships in their life may kind of strike some people as a little bit off-putting. If your Venus is in Aries, your most important relationship is with yourself. And this has its benefits and it also has its cons. So things that are good about having a Venus in Aries is you're not going to be the type of person that's a pushover, You're going to be decisive, and when you make a decision, you're going to go with that decision. You're not going to be swayed by, people around you or by influences in your life. If something is important to you, you're going to be strong and you're going to stand by that. Someone with their Venus in Aries is going to go after what they want. If you have your Venus in Aries, you're also going to realize the importance of self-satisfaction. Now, it might be a little bit over the top at times, but it's definitely better than being somebody that, doesn't do anything to please themselves and is always constantly trying to please other people. So that's not something someone with the Venus in Aries is really going to be worried about or having to deal with. On the other hand, it might be helpful to work on compromising in relationships with other people and realizing that a relationship can be satisfying for you as well as for the other person. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, I'm also talking about friendships, family relationships, relationships with your pets, like relationships with your coworkers. Whatever kind of relationships you're forming with others in the universe, it'll be helpful for you to understand, compromise and having both parties in a relationship be satisfied and happy. Having a Venus in Aries can cause impulsiveness, especially in romantic relationships or platonic relationships. This person will probably attract others to them, but they might go through a lot of friends in their lives, or they might go through a lot of short-lived romantic relationships. Because they struggle, to compromise with making themselves happy and making other people happy, their relationships might be short-lived, or they might not always be the most positive. In love, this impulsivity can cause rash decision-making. And like I said, when an Aries makes up their mind, they're going to go with it. But sometimes they make up their mind very quickly without really thinking it through. So in terms of having, their connections to other people, sometimes they can jump into something a little too quickly. And this might lead to some short-lived romantic relationships for Aries. And I'm not saying that's what they're doomed to have their entire life. I'm just saying that this is something that a person with their Venus in Aries should be aware of so that they can kind of work past that. The more you are aware of your birth chart and everything that's in it, the easier it is to avoid, the challenges and the roadblocks that may come from having certain placements and certain signs and certain houses, etc., 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 etc. You know. So now we're going to talk about having your Venus in Leo. A person with their Venus in Leo is going to probably be dramatic in the way that they handle their emotions and their affairs with other people. Like affairs of the heart. Sounds like a Lifetime movie title, just saying. While having a Venus in Leo might also cause some self-centeredness, like I talked about with having a Venus in Aries, a person with their Venus in Leo is going to have an easier time being more aware of others and others' needs. A person with their Venus in Leo might, want someone around them that's going to admire them and make them feel good about themselves. And it might be a challenge for them to be around somebody that is more of a critic or somebody that's blunt and honest and isn't there, to be giving a Leo tons of admiration and flattery. So they might have a tough time, being critiqued or dealing with someone that might be a little too honest or somebody that's like really just telling them how it is. Like they'd prefer to be around people that are like, oh my god, you're amazing, like you're wonderful. Like that's just what someone with a Venus in Leo, ideally wants and feels good about. I mean, I think we all would, but this is something that Venus in Leo would have a really tough time handling critics and somebody that, challenges their personality and things about them. A person with their Venus in Leo tends to be very attractive physically. So they're attractive to others, but it also comes from part of a personality trait where, they're warm, they're inviting, they're generous, they're loyal. They can be honest and kind, and this also is going to draw people towards them because these are all like wonderful traits and people can pick up on that sense with somebody who has their Venus in Leo. And another thing is Venus Leo is going to be typically loyal to those that they're in romantic relationships with as well as platonic or familial, and they're also going to be affectionate. Those are some things that tend to, show up in a person who has their Venus in Leo. Whew. This person can also be really creative and artistic, and they're probably going to have some kind of artistic or creative talent. Like, they're more likely to be talented in these areas. Their challenge is really not letting their own emotions take over an entire relationship to the point where the other person's, emotions and desires do not become equally as important. So Leo has to learn, that yes, they may be feeling some type of way, but they have to also work with the other person and compromise like we talked about with Aries, but not so much as that they only care about self-satisfaction, just that they need to understand that they're not always the most important person in every, relationship, friendship, love affair of whatever. So if your Venus is in Leo or you know somebody, that's probably going to be their toughest challenge. So now we're going to talk about having your Venus in Sagittarius. Out of the three, I think that this could be one of the easier places to have your Venus. This person is most likely going to come across as pretty friendly, and they're going to probably have an easier time in life making friends, and people will just kind of want to be around them. All of these signs, Venus in any of the fire signs, are going to attract people to want to be around them more than, some of the other elements that we're going to talk about in future videos. Having your Venus in Sagittarius might make it difficult for people to take you seriously in a dependable way. They might have difficulty being dependable, especially in romantic relationships, as they're always kind of into like something or someone new. They love to have a good time, they love to travel, they love to move around, they love to experience like every part of life, and they're always looking for the next adventure. They want to experience life in all the different ways that it can be experienced, which means that they're always going to be attracted to, something new, something exciting, a new person, a new personality, like a new type of group of people. I don't want to say etc., but etc. They're always going to be looking for fun times and adventures with others, and with themselves. And they can kind of struggle with the serious side of romantic and platonic relationships, and even, family relationships, and even work relationships. The serious side, the real stuff, that's kind of hard for them to handle. This person may enjoy having, like, philosophical conversations about relationships, and they might enjoy talking about, the intricate ins and outs of different types of relationships and, deep thoughts and feelings about them, but when it comes down to it, they will probably have a hard time dealing with the reality. Like, yes, it may be fun to be friends with this person, and you guys might be having, like, a really great time together, and your friendship's great, but the second that this person might need you in a serious fashion, if you have your Venus in Sagittarius, all of a sudden it kind of becomes a little too real, and you might feel yourself kind of backing away a little bit. Same with any other, relationships in life, if you have your Venus in a Sagittarius. Another thing about having your Venus in Sagittarius is you're not going to want to feel confined by another person. This person is going to value their freedom and their independence, and they're going to appreciate a partner or a friend that can give this to them. Like I said, this person finds relationships and people fascinating, but sometimes they might expect a little too much leeway or trust from whoever the other person is, even like in platonic relationships. They might just feel like they can kind of get away with whatever and do what they want, and it's not like a purposeful thing. It's just they expect the other person's gonna trust that they're gonna be a good friend or a good boyfriend or girlfriend, and sometimes people just can't handle that in another person, so they, might need to kind of tone it back a bit and realize that not everybody is going to, view freedom and trust in the same way that they do. Just a little side note, this person with a Venus in Sagittarius might come across money in an easier way than other placements for Venus. So that is an overview of what it's like to have your Venus in either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I hope you could find this video helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're interested, I also started up a second channel somewhat recently, so I will leave the link to that down below, and it's called Life with Grace. So I will see you guys in my next video. I put new videos out every Monday. Stay tuned, and as always, have a good day or night. And another one bites the dust. Why can I not conquer love? I know, that song's just like stuck in my head.
This side of my hair looks pretty good. This side, I really don't know what happened to it. It's like a little disturbing. Like, what the F? Looks like it got like caught in like a tornado or something, doesn't it? Like, it looks like it was like somebody like took like a rake and like brushed this side of my hair, and this side they like put some shiny stuff on it so it looks good. I just don't get it. Like, it's just a mystery to me. Like, look for me on the new series Unsolved Mysteries, and maybe we can like talk about it there, because it's very riveting stuff, my hair.